Hey guys, in today's video, we're checking out the brand new Shure GLX-D Plus wireless system. This is a brand new wireless system from Shure, and in this video, I'm going to go over a complete guide on basically setup, how it works, the options that you have for buying, specs, and just a general overview on how to use this system. Right off the bat, I will say that I've used a ton of wireless systems over the years. If you've seen my channel, you know how many wireless systems I've reviewed. I will say that this system has the best system for batteries and charging the system, as well as the best way to scan for the best channel. In this system in particular, it really nails it with those two features. Also, this is an upgrade from the previous GLX-D model, and in this one, in the GLX-D Plus model, they now use dual band frequencies, so it's basically doubled the number of frequencies that you have available to find a clear channel, which is awesome. So there are two different versions of this system. There's the rack mount or tabletop version of this system, and that can be used with a handheld mic, or it can be used with a body pack to be used with guitar, bass, or instruments, or with a lavalier mic or a headset mic. And that's what I'm going to be going over in this video, specifically with a handheld mic, but it'll still apply to all the other ones. However, there is a pedal board version of this. So your receiver attaches to your pedal board, and it acts as the wireless receiver as well as a tuner. I will be releasing a separate dedicated video to that one tomorrow, so be sure to check down below in the description as well as the pinned comment to see that video when that comes out, if that's the version that you are interested in. I do want to say a massive thank you to Sweetwater for sponsoring this video and sending me this product to check out. All of the opinions in this video are my own, but if you've seen my channel before, I've used so many Shure wireless products over the years. I love what they're doing. No surprise, I also love this system. And purchase links to purchase this system from Sweetwater will be available down in the description down below. So don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more music gear tutorials and reviews like this in the future. And let's go ahead and get started. All right, so for setup. So first of all, one of the things that's cool about the system is that the plug to power the device has a screw on the back so that it screws in and it cannot become unplugged, which is really nice because it won't accidentally ever get unplugged while you're performing or something like that. The antennas screw in here at the back, and you have two of them. They do include everything that you need in order to rack mount it to bring the antennas to the front if you're going to put this in a rack. Everything's included. However, for this video, I'm just going to use them like this. So in the back, you do have XLR out and 1/4 inch out. You do have a switch for switching it between mic and line. And then you do have a USB port in order to update the firmware. So go ahead and power it on with the power button in the front. And then when you power on your transmitter, whether it's a handheld or the body pack, it should pair automatically. And you'll get information on your screen about battery life and stuff like that. And you will see that the RF light has lit up, saying that it is getting a wireless signal. If you push this link button, you'll see that your transmitter and your receiver both start blinking. So that is a way to let you know that the transmitter and the receiver are ID linked together. If for some reason they're not, you would just hold link on both the transmitter and the receiver and set them next to each other, and it will pair together. But most of the time, they should just pair automatically. So setting the gain is really simple on the front. Push this button right here. It goes all the way up to plus 42 decibels, which is really high. I doubt you need to go that high. And then it goes down as low as negative 18 decibels. But you can set your gain properly and very easily. And you can see your audio meter here in the front. So when I talk into the microphone, 1, 2, yes, yes. You can see that it's a little quiet, so I'm going to bump it up a little bit. And what works best for me is about 8 decibels of gain. So that's where I'm going to set it for this. Like I said at the beginning of the video, this system is the best system I've ever used for scanning. You ready? Push this one button. It scans for the best channel, and it assigns it to both the receiver and the transmitter. You don't have to sync anything. You don't have to use an IR window or anything like that. Because of the link ID, it automatically syncs them together. One button press, it scans, and it assigns both of them. That's amazing. I love that about this system. It's about as easy as it gets for scanning. So right now it's set to group 1. If you want to change the group, you would hold the group button and then push the group button to cycle through 1, 2, or 3. So I did reach out to Shure specifically to make sure that I got this information correct. And what they recommend is group 1 is best if you use 1 or 2 systems. Group 2 is best if you use 2 to 5 systems at once. And then group 3 is best if you're using the wireless in a space or an area that is entirely Wi-Fi free within a few hundred feet. So you should set your group properly and then do a scan. Set your group, push the channel button once, and it will scan for the best channel in that group. So for charging the battery, this is awesome. So it does take a specific battery, and I will link to it down below. It does ship with one. However, I do recommend getting two, and you're going to see why here in a minute. You have a spot to put a second battery in here in the receiver. So you push this button to bring it out, and now I'm going to swap this battery for the battery that is in the microphone right now. This is awesome because the battery will charge in this receiver dock. So basically, you're never going to run out of batteries. If you get to a show and you can see how much battery life you have left, if it says 3 hours left and you're doing a 4-hour set, switch it out, take the battery out of this receiver dock, put it in your microphone, and then take the one that needs to be charged and put it in this receiver dock. And while you're performing for those 4 hours, it will charge the battery. You basically will never ever have to worry about charging. It does have a charge port on the microphone itself. You can open it up and plug it in with USB if you need to. But this is awesome because I never ever have to remember to charge my wireless. There's always going to be a fully charged one in the receiver. That's such a cool setup. I love that. So I highly recommend getting a second one. It's only like $30 or $40, and I will link to it down below as well. It's one of my favorite things about this system. Okay, and you do have a way to also lock the receiver. You hold the group and the channel button together and it'll flash LK. That means that it's locked. I can't push anything. I can't adjust anything else in here, and the system is now locked. To unlock it, you just do the same thing, hold the channel and group button together. That can be valuable if you don't want someone to bump it or accidentally change something on the wireless. And lastly, you are able to use two transmitters going to one receiver. You can do that by following the steps on the screen. Go ahead and pause it if you want to find out how to do that. However, just make sure both transmitters are not turned on at the same time because you will have problems with that. Really quickly, the specs. So up to 200 feet line of sight range. The frequency response is from 20 hertz up to 20 kilohertz. The system itself does receive the full frequency range. The battery life is up to 12 hours. I know I get more than 12 hours with these batteries. So as far as pricing and options, you might notice that there's two different types of receivers. There's the GLX-D 24 Plus, and there's also the GLX-D 24R Plus. The regular one has the antennas in the front, and they are not removable. But then the 24R Plus has the antennas in the back, and they are removable. So if you do plan to put this into a rack, you're going to need the rack mount version. That's what the R stands for. If you plan to just leave this out on like a tabletop or carry it portably, you won't need that. And it'll save you about $100 to get the tabletop version as opposed to the rack mount one. The rack mount one also does work with their frequency manager. So if you plan to use more than two of these at once, using the frequency manager will be a huge help with that. So that would be another reason that you would want to get the rack mount one. So as far as pricing, the tabletop version starts at $550, and then the rack mount version starts at $650, and then it depends on what kind of mic you get. So the SM58, the industry standard, is going to be the cheapest. If you go up to the Beta 58, it's about $50 more, and if you go up to the Beta 87, which is my personal favorite mic for my baritone vocals, it's about $100 more. So it really just depends on what you get. If you do get it with the body pack, you can basically use it with any lavalier mic or headset mic or for an instrument, as long as it uses the TA4F connector. And I will post links down below to all the different options that you have so you can buy the one that works best for you. So one of the biggest improvements of this system over the previous model is the fact that it operates in both 2.4 gigahertz as well as 5.8 gigahertz. The previous model, the GLX-D system, operated just in 2.4 gigahertz. So 2.4 gigahertz will work more times than it doesn't work. The thing about 2.4 is that it is probably the most crowded wireless frequency. It's a universally allowed frequency all over the world, and because of that, a lot of wireless systems now operate on 2.4 gigahertz, so it can get crowded. Shure realized that this was a problem, and now their new model operates in 2.4 as well as 5.8 gigahertz, which is awesome. So again, it's more than doubled the number of frequencies that are available for your wireless to find a clear channel. So as far as my experience, I have been using this live. I always try to test out my gear before doing a review on it for my YouTube channel. No surprise, it's been working great for all the shows that I've played with it. So I am doing a review on it for my YouTube channel, so I wanted to push this thing towards its limit. Now, one of the things that you're not supposed to do with anything on 2.4 or 5.8 is leave it near Wi-Fi routers. So Wi-Fi routers often operate in the same frequency, so it's best practice to leave your wireless at least 6 to 10 feet away from a Wi-Fi router. That's what you're supposed to do. Me, as someone who's testing this and trying to push it to the extreme, I didn't do that, and I put it right by my router just to see what would happen. Again, I want to be clear. Do not do this. Best practice, leave it 6 to 10 feet away from a Wi-Fi router. I'm just doing a YouTube review and I wanted to push this thing towards its limit. And I only did this for 2 of the smaller shows that we played. If it was a problem, it would take 10 seconds just to move it away from the router, so it wasn't that big of a deal. There was a show that we played where my band got to open for American authors and I did not leave it by the Wi-Fi router. I made sure to leave it 6 to 10 feet away from the Wi-Fi router because it wasn't worth risking for a bigger show like that. Side note, it worked amazing for that show, but during our set, it started just pouring rain outside and it started to leak a little bit on the stage. Can you guess where the water, of course, decided to leak onto the stage? Right on top of my brand new wireless system, right on top of the receiver. It was literally dripping water on top of it. I was at the front of the stage. I obviously didn't know that this was happening behind me. I really wish I got footage of that, but in the moment, I was obviously panicking that water was dropping onto my brand new wireless system. But I am happy to say that my wireless still works even after having water dripping on the ceiling onto it. So again, don't put it near a Wi-Fi router, and I would highly recommend against leaving it where water is dripping down from the ceiling, just so you know. Anyway, so for the shows where I left it by the router, it worked great. It was awesome and it worked. On the last show that we did, I believe that it did get a little bit of interference. And again, remember, I'm doing what you're not supposed to do. The fact that it survived for 2.5 hours, we played a 3-hour set. At about 2.5 hours in, it got a little bit of interference in there. That's pretty incredible. The thing that's so cool about it, and the thing that I love probably the most about this system, is that if it does get interference, any microphone can get interference. That's the way wireless works. But if you do, I went over, I pushed the channel button, it scanned for a new channel, and it automatically sent that new channel to my transmitter. Most systems, you have to scan and then bring the system over, open it up, and sync with the IR port and stuff like that. This one, you push one button, it scans, finds a new channel, and it syncs both of them up together. It was back up and running in like 5 seconds. That is why I think that this is the best system as far as scanning that I've ever used. I wish more systems would do that, where the transmitter and the receiver were linked together like that, and when you scan, it would automatically send it to the other one. That's really, really cool, and I love that about this system. On top of the fact that, again, I'm never going to run out of batteries using that method that I mentioned earlier. In my opinion, those are the 2 best things about the system, just like I mentioned at the beginning of the video. Very cool that they did that. So I'm definitely a fan of the system, and I'm going to continue to use it. So again, many thanks to Sweetwater for sending me this to check out. If you are interested in purchasing this system for yourself, there will be links to purchase on Sweetwater down below in the description. So that's basically it. Again, don't forget to check out the video on the pedal board version if you're a guitar player or bass player, or you have a pedal board or something like that. If you're interested in checking that out, there will be links down below in the description, as well as at the end screen. So the next level up from the GLX-D system is the Shure SLX-D system. And I do have a dedicated review on that as well if you are interested in checking that one out. You can check out both of those videos by clicking the links on your screen now. I do have a whole Shure wireless video playlist that you can also check out. Link will be down below in the description. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at ScottEwellMusic. Thank you guys again for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you again to Sweetwater, and I'll see you guys next time.